solo.
Hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We have another exciting game today, and I'm gonna do a little setting tinkering. There we go, that's a little bit more in frame. So we have Siege of Valeria. This is a review copy sent to me by Daily Magic Games. Thank you so much to them, and I dig it. I really dig it. I am finding myself really enjoying these tower defensey, lots of enemies, kind of, you know, ability card manipulation, trying to deal with a horde coming at you. So the scratch is a lot of the same itch as Set a Watch for me, and I love Set a Watch, and really digging this one as well. This is more tower defensey than Set a Watch. Set a Watch is, you know, more like, again, you're just having these line of enemies that you can see around your campsite. So I guess Set a Watch is probably more tower defensey than I'm giving it credit. Yes, tower defensey is the new word for today. So every time I say that, you've got to take a drink. So sorry, that's the rules. So get yourself set up for that. But yeah, this game is really pretty solid. I have played one Valeria Kingdom game. I played Valeria Card Kingdoms one time at PAX East last year. Really enjoyed it. I've thought about picking it up. I have a long line of competitive games that I'm thinking about picking up, and I just haven't taken the plunge yet. And then I heard about Siege of Valeria. Now, I understand a lot of the Valeria games, they're all in the same universe, same art style, but you have very different games. This is a solo-only game. It came across my Twitter feed a couple of times. I reached out to Daily Magic Games, and he very quickly sent me a copy. So I am psyched to feature it here today. Like I did with Bloody Inn, this is a pretty short game. Might run through it twice. We'll see how that plays out. But let's just get into the setup and the rules. If someone could jump in the chat and let me know that my audio is good. I'm going to check. Yep, seems like the settings should be okay. So that would be great. So we have a bunch of tokens over here. I'll explain what they are as we go. And then we have some extra dice in the supply over here. We're going to start the game with 3 red dice and 2 blue dice, which I will put over here. We have a deck of event cards, which I'll shuffle up real quick. And that is like so. We'll shuffle up the champion cards, our champions. Let me read the flavor text here. It's pretty short. So, story time with Greg. A little surprise story time with Greg. Surprise even to me. The story of Siege of Valeria. For more than a month, the Shadow Kingdoms have surrounded your fortress at Valeria's southern border with hordes of monsters and mighty engines of war. The Queen of Valeria has sent word that her forces are all engaged in the battle for the north, and she cannot provide assistance. Your supplies are nearly exhausted, and your starving and suffering citizens are close to despair. You've rallied your soldiers and holy troops to meet the monster-kin's latest surge. But if you cannot break the siege in 7 days, your fortress will fall and the southern border of the realm will crumble before the onslaught of monsters. Do you have what it takes to defend the castle? I hope we do. I sure hope we do. Let's roll. I keep the number of times I say roll when I mean to say shuffle is pretty astounding. And, you know, surprising things about me. That is definitely up there on the list. So I am shuffling right now. I almost said rolling again, to be honest with you. I'm shuffling right now the siege engines, the engines of war. There are 13 in the box. We're going to go ahead and take 5 of them. 18 in the box. We're going to go ahead and take 5 of them and set them aside, which means we're going to have 13 in our little game here. All right, we're going to put that deck all the way up top right there. Now we're going to have these cards. There are 48 different monsters in the box. You'll see blue monsters and you will see red monsters. Ooh, colorful. And we're going to set that guy there. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this deck. Do 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 do. What did I do to my audience? Where is everybody? I feel all alone. It's like a birthday party that only I showed up for. I always have a hard time predicting when I do like a title like this. I have a hard time predicting just exactly how many people it's gonna draw. But this one's a good one. So if you're watching this on VOD, you should have been here. It's fine. I will entertain myself. It's the plight of a solo gamer. All right, so I'm going to take 2 cards off the top. So we go from 48 down to 46. I'm going to take 2 cards into my hand. I'll explain what they do later. We have a Dragonkin Warlord, and we have a Gargoyle Talon. How exciting. I love the art in this game, by the way. It's really good. And I will move this a little further down. Now, that means I have 44 cards left here. We're going to take 20 of them, and they're going to start in play in 4 rows of 5. So, and you can see how the rows start. You have like these little symbols down here. We're just going to create rows directly in front. So we have a Gnoll Pack, an Orc Archer, a Gargoyle Talon, a Dragonkin Warlord, our first Holy Enemy. Not is it Holy Enemy? Holy. What did they call them? The monsterkins. I don't know. A blue monster. I don't think they're actually called holy monsters. That'd be a strange oxymoron. We have another Gnoll Pack. We have an Efreet Inflam, a Goblin Warrior, a Troll Brute, a Gargoyle Talon, Dragonkin Warlord, Goblin Warrior, Troll Brute. You see, there's definitely multiple copies of all these guys. We have a Red Witch, a Gargan Priest, an Undead Samurai, a Troll Brute, a Gnoll Pack, and an Orc Archer. The rest of these will be over here. We'll have 24 of them. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Now that's important because when we have to draw from that deck and there are no more, that's it. That's game. And we're going to be adding 4 of them every round. So there are ways that you might add less than 4 every round. If you're adding less than 4 every round, you're not playing well. You're not going to do well. So you just might as well give it up and start over. So that basically means we have 7 rounds because you don't add it to the end of the end of each round. So we have 7 rounds to get this thing done. And what's the thing we need to get done? Well, we need to defeat all 13 of these siege engines, right? So all these engines aboard. Thank you, Adam. Audio good. I appreciate the shout out. So we have 13 of these siege engines. We need to defeat all 13, and we need to do that in 7 rounds. Because at the end of the 7th round, when we go to add more of these cards to the board and there are none, well, guess what? We lose. So 13 siege engines, you pretty much want to start killing. If you can kill 1 in the first round, great. But by the end, you have to be killing almost 3 every round. If you do like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, that's going to add up to 13. Trust me, I did the math. If you do like 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, but you need to really start killing, 2, 1, 2 every round early and then 2 or 3 every round late. If you're trying to leave 4 or 5 for the last round, that's going to be really hard to do. You're just not going to have the firepower. All right, so then we're going to put 5 siege engines across the top to start. We have a ballista. That's a especially nasty one. We have a battering ram. We have a ogre's reach. We have an incendiaries, and we have a battering ram. So pretty nasty assortment of siege engines up the front. Now you'll see a lot of information on these cards. I will explain what the information does as we kind of walk through the rounds. I just think that will make the most sense. To start, what I'll say is all of these cards that you see, not the siege engines per se, but the other cards are multi-use. So first, what their use is they're a monster, they're attacking you. When you defeat them, you take them into your hand. So I'm going to have an array. I thought about getting the card camera out today, but honestly, there's too many of these cards, and where the information is, the way I have my card camera in the slots, it wouldn't be helpful at all. But once you have this in your hand, there is a ability at the bottom of the card that you can just play the card at any time. You can play multiple cards, you can combo cards, you can do a whole bunch of things to get the ability. So this card here is when I decide to play this card, it says double the value of any one die. Now the die symbol there is black, so that means I could double the value of either a blue or a red die. If that symbol was red, it would only refer to one of the red dies. Blue, only one of the blue dies. Yes, very, very complicated. Glad you're staying with me. So this guy also has information how much it is to defeat, and it is important to note that he is a red enemy, the red monster, so there are effects that might only work against a red monster. So again, you'd have to make sure you're doing that. The Gargoyle Talon, its special ability is that I can attack any non-front card. Well, what the heck's a front card? A front card is the card that is lowest, that is closest to your little wall here. So the front card at the beginning of every round is going to be these 5 cards. You could always attack a front card. However, if you want to attack a card that's not in the front, you can use a Gargoyle Talon to say, great, I can attack any other card. The only other card you can attack that is not a front card, unless you have the Gargoyle Talon, is going to be a siege engine that is within range. Siege engines are in range when they're in a row in this tower area that has a red, that corresponds to the chart on their thing that is red. So if you look at these cards right now, this one's not in range because row 5 is black. This one's not in range because row 5 is black. This one's not in range because row 5 is black. This one's not in range because row 5 is black. But in column 4, that has a red symbol. So that means that I could attack the incendiaries even though they're in row 5 and they're not a front card because they're in range, which is a pretty decent mechanic. Again, it's usually easier, not always, but usually easier to kill the things as they come closer and more forward. But again, once they're in range, not only can you attack them, they start doing nasty things to you. So there is like a little bit of a balance there. All right, everything seems shuffled. Again, I'm just kind of got to go through the rules as we go. Probably do this twice, so the first one will be more of like the teaching opportunity. Second one, we should be able to just kind of blow through it. One thing I will say up front is that if you're using all of the abilities you get pretty haphazardly, this game is not hard to win in the sense that it's not hard to defeat all 13 of the siege engines. Where the challenge of this game comes in, and where I started to like this game more, is that there are degrees of victory. So it is a little bit beat your own scorey, which isn't my favorite, but there are exceptions. Where the challenge of this game comes in is how many cards you don't use. So if you win, so all 13 siege engines are defeated, and you have 13 cards that you haven't used, including cards that are left on the board, that is you defeated and routed the troops, and then there's grades of victory after that. So well, I guess it's 13 plus defeated and routed the troops, and then you have like a postscript, and the queen thinks you're amazing, and everything's happy and hunky-dory. So if you win and there's like you have very few cards left, your postscript isn't as great, and it's just not as honorable a victory as it might be. So doing this card management and trying to get 13 plus cards, for me, that's like the real win. Most of the games I lose is because I've been very conservative in using cards to my detriment. But if I was using all my cards, I would say more often than not you will win. So that is something knowing going in. If you're like, hey, is this game for me? If that would bother you, that it is kind of has the beat your own score element, then you might want to look somewhere else. All right, let's go through this thing. There is a handy dandy little cheat sheet here of the different steps of each round. There are, again, 7 steps. There are 7 rounds that we have to do this in, and there are actually 7 steps in each round. Most of them are fairly quick. So the first step of this round is going to roll all our available dice. And we would also flip any champions face up had we had any champions. We do not have champions yet. The best way, easiest way, the most common way to get champions is going to be when we defeat one of the engines of war. So I'm rolling these 5 dice, and decent roll to start the game. Oh, that's very nice. So we have a red 1 up. Numbers, man. Numbers are hard. Colors are hard. Numbers are hard. The struggle is real. So we have a red 3, a blue 3, a blue 4, a red 5, a red 6, and another red 6. That is our available dice pool. As I spend dice, I will move them from the right of the board over to the left. That's a little counterintuitive for me, but you know, it flows. That's what the picture of the book is, and that's how I started playing, and that's how I'm going to continue playing. Now we are going to go to the next step. We're going to check to see if the siege engines are in range, and if they are in range, we will carry out their effect. Again, the only one in range, we already talked about this, is the incendiaries. They're going to make me re-roll a 5. So I have 1 5. I have to re-roll it. I rolled a 6. That's right, you incendiaries. You thought you could make me weaker, but you just made me stronger. Cool. Now you'll see the other effects can be pretty nasty. This one makes us forfeit a dice. We'd have to actually literally put a die back in the supply, and we'd have to also lose a champion. Super nasty. This one makes us lower each of our red die by 1 pip. Nasty. This one makes us add 2 damage tokens. What are damage tokens? Great question. The damage tokens are going to go on here. There's little actually slots on this board. I don't know how clearly you can see it in the video. It's coming out pretty good actually. So once we put damage tokens, that's fine. 2 damage tokens, fine. 3 damage tokens means, you can't even put a champion there anymore. And 4 damage tokens means, yeah, you lose if any one of these turrets gets 4 damage tokens. So try to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, and I love the art. I love this. I love a lot of this production. It's really just super cool. Anyway, so that was phase 2. We resolved the siege engines. Again, siege engines that were in range, did some in rangey stuff, and now we can move on to the next step. We're going to resolve an event. The events, some are really bad, some are fine, is what it is. Fools rush in. The orc shaman appears from a cloud of green smoke. He pulls a vial of something from his pouch and corks it, finds a weakened soldier, and proceeds to force the black liquid, tough word, down their throat. The orc shaman sinks into the earth and disappears. The soldier who was fed the black liquid lets out a blood-curdling cry of fury. Add 2 of these to the weakest red monster in the Vanguard. The weakest red monster in the Vanguard is the Gargoyle Talon. It has a 4. We're going to make that go there. Now, what does that mean? When we added those tokens, that means that the value of the to defeat the Gargoyle Talon used to be a 4. Well, now it's a 6. The upside of that is that in some ways you kind of net 0 on this, because when we go to kill the Gargoyle Talon using a 6, we're going to be able to take these 2 tokens off and immediately add 1 pip per token to any die or dice of our choosing. There are days that I'm like, what am I doing? Any die of our choosing. We're gonna get there. we're gonna make this happen, kids. It's gonna be great. So that's a thing. I need some more dice. So let me get some more dice, and we can start figuring out how to make this work. Now you'll notice the blue dice. The blue dice have 2 uses. One, if we're killing like the Red Witch or the Efreet and Flame or the Undead Samurai or the Gargan Priest, we are going to need to have some magic strength added equal or exceeding the value that's there. Additionally, if you are there, we will be in a place, especially late, we'll have more blue dice than we really need because there's more red enemies than there are blue enemies. Blue dice, these holy dice, can augment and add strength to red dice in a red attack. So say we could add the 4 and a 4. That blue 4 can add to the red 4 to make a total of 8 to defeat the Dragonkin Warlord. So that's sort of legit. However, you cannot defeat a red enemy. You cannot defeat any monster, I should say, with only blue dice. Now, there are champions that you can combine blue dice and a champion effect. I mean, there are other things you can do, but the general rule is if you're trying to defeat an enemy, you need at least 1 red die along for the ride. All right, so let's figure out how the rest of this is going to work. So I'm going to spend this 6 to defeat the Orc Archer. Now, the Orc Archer comes down here, but you know what? I want more dice. That's going to be super important. So I'm going to discard the Orc Archer, and the ability of the Orc Archer says, hey, gain and roll 1 red die. That sounds like a super great idea. So I'm going to take this die from the supply, and we're going to add it to my available dice for this round. I rolled, it's a 4. So the good rolling commences. I'm sure this will no longer be the case. Oh, in about a round. That's great. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to take this 4 and this 3. Again, it's a holy 3, so that matches up the values for the Red Witch, and we're going to defeat the Red Witch. This one's defeated. We got lucky that we had 2 monsters on the front row that both gave us a die, because now I'm going to discard the Red Witch. What's its effect? I get to gain and roll a blue. Booyah, that's a 1. There we go. And I'm going to get myself 1 champion. Bam. Champion says I can discard this to re-roll 2 spent blue dice and reuse them. Interesting. Where does this go? Well, I can put it at any open spot on my thing. And champions also have multi-use. Now this one is a discard to get the effect. Some of them are flipped to get the effect. If they are ready, if there is damage in a turret, you can choose to voluntarily discard them to fix the turret, which you will need to do at some point, and you will have more champions than you can fit at some point in the game if things are going well. So you're going to want to be pretty aggressive in healing healing up your little wall here. There are also some effects that are going to make you lose champions, so sometimes it's better to, hey, before I lose it, let me go ahead and use it to do some healing. Now at the end of this round, when I'm done doing my actions, anything that's in the front row is going to do 1 damage to the wall. My champion can still be there, but again, if it gets to that 3rd level ever, then I can no longer have a champion in that spot. So the question for me is, what do I want to do? This 1 is kind of stupid. I do want to get rid of that guy. You know, I could just save myself damage across the board. None of those are going to be especially awful. Like when I look ahead, like if they all move down 1, this is still the only one that's going to be in range. So, you know, do I say, all right, great, I just don't kill a siege engine this turn, but that means that, again, if I'm trying to get to 13 over 6 rounds, again, the math of that gets a little tighter. But let me spend the 6. If I do not take care of these tokens, at the end of the round, not only will the gargoyle do a damage to my turret, it will also just move those over. So at some point I'm going to need to deal with them. Might as well deal with them the first round when I rolled so many 6s. The gargoyle talent is now going to come in front of me, so I have 2 of them. And now I can use those pips to add to 2 of my red dice. I cannot add to blue dice. They have to be added to red dice because they are the red things. These little tokens here would be the opposite. They can only be added to blue dice when you get them. So I'm going to make this a 5, and I'm going to make this a 4. I think I just cleared out the first row, get no damage, live to fight another day. Yeah, this is a pretty strong. That was a really, really good roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 5. I'm going to defeat the null pack. When I discard that, it allows me to flip 1 die to its opposite side. It can be really strong, especially if you have too many 1s, because the opposite side of the 1 is a opposite of a 1 is the ooh, never mind. I thought I had something cooler. Opposite of a 1 is a 6. I might actually use that now. So I definitely want to grab this card. I'm trying to be a little conservative how I spend these cards, but I have the magic die. It makes sense to do that. So let me, I wish I had, I just need 1 more pip. There were things I could add like this, add 1 to a pip. That'd be so much better. But I wish I had a different champion too. There would be ones that'd be better. I could just re-roll. That's another argument. I think I do that. So I'm going to take these 2 dice. I'm just going to use this champion aggressively. It lets me save the card. So I'm going to use these 2 dice. I'm going to kill the Dragonkin Warlord. I'm going to use Sir Nathan to re-roll 2 of those dice. That's now a 5 and F1. That's just way too much, but I'm going to use the 6 and the 4 to do that. And then I'm just going to have to waste those 2 blue dice. But I just felt like, again, I'm trying to save the cards. It seems silly to use one for those purposes, and there's, again, things that might have maybe lose that thing anyway, but that was enough to kill the Efreet and Flam. The Freet and Flam is amazing. So Overkill is a very strong ability. You want to get every card with Overkill that you can, and you want to use it wisely. Spend 2 extra magic to overkill an adjacent siege engine. So if I wanted to defeat that guy, if I spend 5 magic instead of 3 magic, I could spend the extra 2 to just defeat the adjacent siege engine. That is super, super strong. And you can combo that with like the Gargoyle Talon. So I could be like, all right, I'm going to attack the Troll Brute, spend 2 magic energy, and I can kill the Ogre's Heart, the Ogre's Reach. I mean, there are definitely a lot of things that you can do with that are really, really strong. All right, so that is the end of my actions. Again, not the most efficient. Might have been, I probably should have used a null pack instead of the champion, but I felt using the champion anyway. So that is what it is. So that was step 4, perform your actions. We now go to activate the Vanguard. We're going to resolve the Vanguard. So this is the Vanguard. The first row closest to our wall is going to be considered the Vanguard. There are no things there, so they do no damage to us. Now we're going to advance the battlefield. Every card in the battlefield, in every row, or every column, I should say, is going to come down as close to our wall as it possibly can. So we're going to keep moving this down until everything is filled in. Now we're going to reinforce the battlefield. We're going to take the top 4 cards off the deck, and they're going to go in the open slot closest to our tower is first priority, and then left to right is second priority. So we have 1, that's going to be a Goblin Warrior. 2, it's a Lycan Mage. 3, it's a Dragonkin Warlord. And 4 is a Troll Brute. That is now filled in, and now we're going to go to the next round. So that was round uno. 1 in Spanish. Yes, bilingual. I know. All right, we're going to go to the next step. We're going to go to roll your dice, which is phase 1. Bam. Not as good of a roll. So I see 1 6. We'll see how we can use all this. So we got 2 1s, a 2, a 3, 2 4s. Those are our red dice, and then the blue dice we have a 3, a 4, and a 6. We're going to resolve the siege engines. Still not in range. Still not in range. Still not in range. That's in range. Makes us re-roll a 5. Well, joke's on you, sucker. We don't have any 5s, and still not in range. So we've defeated 0 siege engines. I definitely want to defeat at least 1 siege engine this round. That is super important. All right, so we'll try to prioritize that. We're going to go to the event step. The event is Friends Arrive. There you go. First you see flags upon the eastern horizon. You fear it may be more monsterkin troops, but then you make out the sigil of Aquila. Finally, the queen has sent reinforcements to help you defend your castle. You ring the bell and signal the gatesmen to be ready to open at your command as the champions come closer. So we're going to get 2 champions. Number 1 is you get 2 magic energy against a red monster. Now again, magic energy can convert and strengthen a red die. So there's something weird about that card for me. Like, it's not intuitive, but yeah, like, it's basically +2. It could be +2 anything because it's only get a red monster, and red monsters don't have blue values. So I'm not really sure why they felt the need to say that, hey, it's a blue damage, because magic damage just augments. But I digress. And then we have Sir Filco, which allows us to, and you could put these in. I'm going to put this over here. I'm a little worried about the 2 damage from that. We have Sir Filco +1 to any red die. Now remember, we can already attack this thing without it being the front card because it is in range. So that is one we can definitely take down without having to worry about range requirements. None of the other, if they all move down 1, none of the other are going to be in range on next turn. So it is definitely something to consider, as where, unless we, like, say we killed all 3 of those enemies, that would move all the way down there. That would be a bad idea. But it's just something to consider as we take stock of where we're at right now. So I'm going to spend this 4 to kill this Gargoyle Talon. So now we have 3 of those suckers. I'm going to spend this 4 and this 3 to kill the Red Witch. That gives me another blue die. It's the last blue die in my supply because I'm going to discard that and use that effect now. That's another 4, and it gives us another champion. Increase the pip of 5 dice by 1 each. Great. I'm going to use Mrs. Rye. There are some things that let you like re-roll your dice. I don't have any of those monsters available to me, and these dice rolls are pretty garbage. So I'm going to make this 1 into a 2. So Mrs. Rise has increased 5 dice by 1 pip each. This 1 becomes a 2. This 2 becomes a 3. This 3 becomes a 4. And I can make one of these 4 into a 5. One of these 4s into a 5. I'm going to use... which one do I want to kill? Probably that one. Dude, some of these are really, really bad. +2. You can use that 5. This lets me add 1. I don't hate that one at all. I can deal with that one next turn. That 2 damage can be really nasty. So I'm going to... Man, these dice rolls are bad. Alright, I'm going to spend this 3 to kill the Goblin Warrior. So he comes here. I'm going to spend this to make this a 5. And then I'm going to flip Adept Imogen to add 2 to that. It's 2 blue, but again, blue magic strength can add to non-magic strength, holy strength, non-holy strength. I don't know the terms are. That kills the Troll Brute. Troll Brute says I can change 1 die to a 6. We're going to spend this. I'm going to use Ifrit Inflam. I can spend 2 to overkill an adjacent siege engine. And I'm going to need to spend at least 2 red. So that's 2. I'm going to need to get up to 5 strength. Remember, blue can augment that. So I'm going to have, I'll use this blue die. Nope. Yeah, I'll use this blue die here. So that's 6 strength. And then I'm going to spend 4 blue there. So that's going to give me 4 plus 2, which is enough to have, I can kill this dude because I combine that strength. Oh, I needed, what am I doing? I'm looking at the wrong thing. I need this. There you go. This is 7 strength, which copies that. I'm totally looking at the wrong thing. That was silly. All right, I don't need to spend this. I'll do 7 strength and then that. So I'm looking at the street and flump. So I'm going to add at least 2 magic power to be able to overkill something. So the 7 kills a Troll Brute. I added 2 that I can kill an adjacent siege engine, which is super awesome. So those are all used. This is out. And then we killed this thing, which is adjacent. When I defeat one of the siege engines, we're going to get a champion. I get +2 holy strength against a blue enemy. That is not going to be all that helpful. But I will put this over here. I think other than that, we are good. And then I'm going to spend these 2 energy, or these 2 dice. That's going to combine to be an 8. And that's going to let me kill this Troll Brute, which is here. So I've accumulated a lot of cards, which will be super helpful as we continue forward in our little mission here. At the end of the round, there are 2 enemies in the vanguard positions. They're both going to put 1 damage each on our little tower. And then they're going to just go away. Everything else comes down. So this is step 5. Or this is step 6 actually. And then step 7, We're going to see if there's any column does not have a siege engine. This column does not have a siege engine, so we're going to add a siege engine here, and then we're going to fill in some holes. So 1 is going to be a Dragonkin Warlord, 2 is going to be a Lycan Mage, 3 is it's probably Lycan, 3 is going to be a Roan Witch, and 4 is going to be a Goblin Warrior, and then this moves in and it stays in the 5th position. All right, we now go to the next round. We're going to reset our champions, and we're going to roll our thing of dice. So I do want to get more red dice. Fortunately, there's an Orc Archer there that we can make that work. And we've already accumulated 9 different cards down here. So 1, 1. So we have 2 1s, 1 of each color. 3 3s, a blue 3, 3 red 3s and a blue 3, a red 4 and a blue 4, a red 5 and a blue 5. We are going to carry the siege engines, still not in range. Not in range, definitely want to kill that this turn. That's the battering ram, it's pretty nasty. The incendiaries make us reroll a 5. We're going to reroll a blue 5. It's a 3, not a big deal. And then this isn't in range either. So I don't like this one, I don't like this one. I want them both to go, and I really don't like that one. But I don't know if there's going to be a way I can kill all 3 of those dudes. So we're going to have our work cut out for us for sure. I'm going to now grab an event. It is Spell Sickness. Aquila taught the people of Valeria to draw magic from the water. Some can draw from the earth, and some from the sky, like the monsterkin. Very few can draw from all sources, and they are powerful mages indeed. Unfortunately, this connection can sometimes betray the caster, and draw from their very life force. Move 1 active blue die to your spent dice pool, so that it goes there. I just won't have it available this round. That's fine. I'd much rather lose a blue die than a red die at this point in the game. So I'm going to use Agent Imogen to get 2 extra strength here, and I'm going to use this for Oppas. Hold on 1 sec. It's over here. Cool. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, we're good. So that's going to be 6 strength. That's going to kill the Orc Archer. Then I'm going to spend the Orc Archer to get another die from the supply. Please be big. It's a 3. I'm going to use the null pack to flip this die to a 6 because I just do not have enough big numbers this round. I hate you. I don't like you either. I mean, I might really... This would be a good round to, again, try to knock out 3 siege engines. Oh, shoot. I messed up. This would have been in range. So I forgot to carry out that. So that's discard 1 champion. I would have discarded this champion and then flip a champion. So I got no new champions. This was by far the strongest one. It's a +2 against a red, which based on what I had in the front, that would have been the one I wanted. So I had to discard 1 champion with no effect, and then I had to flip a champion with no effect because of the flaming rain. That will not be in range next turn. So it's in range, it's not in range, it's in range, it's not in range, it's in range. Now this is the front card, so now it becomes targetable. So even though it's not in range based on its column, it is in range because it's the front card. And I do want to take it out for sure. This is by far the bigger problem, though. Unless I get to block the effect of one siege engine, that could also be very strong. So if I kill this and these 2 things, that's a good round. And I like that. So what I'm going to do is use the Dragonkin Warlord to double the value of this die, so that makes that a 12, and I'm going to use this magic die to make that a 15. I needed 14 to defeat the battering ram, so battering ram is out, and now I'm going to gain a champion because I defeated the 2nd siege engine of the game. It is Sister Aethia, +or-1 to a blue die. I do not understand the plus or minus. I don't understand why you would ever need a minus in this game. I have read the rules 14 times. I'm like, I must be missing something. But do I need the exact value? You don't. I don't know if they're setting up for an expansion. I don't know. It's very strange, and I don't like when games like have things in the rules that really just don't make sense within the system of the game. So I assume they're setting up for an expansion, but right now it's plus or minus one to a blue die. You would have no reason to do a minus because again, any you can overspend and anything you overspend just goes away. Is how within the construct of the game. So it is what it is. That is that is my mini rant for today. This is my mini rant for today. You're welcome. All right. We have some problems. I These two guys are gonna do damage. I'm not really concerned about that. The question is, can I do this, and can I get these four out of the way? Um, Let me kill the undead samurai with 2 3s. Three, three, two, two, two. So I have 8 cards down here. 2 3s. So I need a 14 to kill that battering ram. I also want to take that out. I don't have a die doubler. I can get a die doubler. A doubler. If I did this, leaves me that. Oh man. I'm gonna be 1 pip away from what I want to do again. That's nuts. All right, let me if I change that to a 6, double that to a 12, 15. So I really want to get a thing that blocks the effect, but I used a lot of my blue dice. I definitely needed. I can't go. There's just way too much to go back. I will get another champion. I could add one to a die. Will that help? If I do 8, make that a 4, double that to an 8, 14. But I'm missing a die. If I make that a 6, that gives me 9. 6, 15. I'm still missing one stupid die. No! Yeah, they're both coming at me. There's really nothing I can do. I'm not going to be able to get both of them. So I think I take the 1 and then I wipe this out, and then we'll have to forfeit a die and just get it back. I can forfeit my lowest blue. That's probably the best bet here. So what's the most efficient way I can do that? If I 6, 10, 14, 4, 4, 8 plus 7. Yeah, I'm going to spend these. Yeah, I'm going to pip this up 1 with Sister Ethia. That gives me 8. I'm going to use that to kill the Dragonkin Warlord. And then the Dragonkin Warlord, I'm going to discard the Brute to make one of these 3s a 6. And then I'm going to use these 14 to kill the Battering Ram. So it's a 6 plus a 5 plus a 3. Battering Ram is out. That gives me a champion. It is the Sir Panther. That's funny. If I had killed him first, I might have actually had a chance to do everything I wanted to do. But the problem is I was trying to get this because then I could prevent the effects of that. But again, if it's a blue die, I'll have opportunities to get a blue die back. So that is literally a forfeited die, not discard, like not spend it. Spend goes there, forfeit goes back to the supply. But again, I got all my blue dice pretty early, so I should be able to get it back over the course of the game. So that is the end of my action phase. We go to phase 5. Hey, Marty. Marty, hello. I just turned in. Time to hear the rant. Adam Brown, is there any events where -1 event? No. I don't know, man. It's a weird. I have played probably about a dozen games of this. I have yet to see a utility for a -1. I don't understand. So we'll see. Maybe the event deck's pretty big for what it is. You only see 7 events a game, so there could be. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 events. You see 7 a game, so there's a chance I just missed an event. But anyway, this attacks. This attacks. These guys go away. I have 8 cards in reserve still. Everything advances. I have killed 3 siege engines in 3 rounds. So we are down to 10 left in the next 4 rounds. All right, so 10 in 4 rounds, a 2, 2, 3, 3. I mean, there's definitely, the math isn't awful, but you have to add siege engines to columns that don't have one. So the ogres reach, that's nasty. Oh, and that one's also nasty. Oh, that's a awful combo of siege engines. Woof. All right, this comes out, the Gargan Priest. This comes out, the Orc Archer. The 3 is the Lycan Mage, and 4 is the Rune Witch. I am in serious trouble, kids. That's a bad combo of siege engines. All right, we'll see how we can make this work. We're going to go to the roll the dice phase. Yikes. I don't like that one. That one and that one, I'm basically losing 3 dice off the bat, which can be really bad. So a red 1, a blue 2, a red 1, a red 3, a red... Oh. Nope. That die I didn't have yet. That was in the supply. Sorry about that. Red 4. A red 4. I don't know if the 1 or the 3 were over there. If someone wants to let me know, fine. I'll just play it as the 1. It doesn't really matter. Because I think they're both going away. The 6. The roll got out of control. I was so excited. I couldn't help myself. The roll just went everywhere. So that's done. Now, phase 2. Activate the siege engines. Oh, these are going to ready. We're going to have to forfeit a champion and 1 die. I will forfeit my lowest blue die. And I will forfeit this as well. No, I'll forfeit Sister Ethia as well. Not in range. Not in range. I have to reroll a 5 again. I rolled a 4. And I have to spend 1 red and 1 blue die. That's where having the Gargan Priest to block the effect of a siege engine would have been huge. So I have to spend these dice. They don't get forfeited. They go over here. But that's a big setback for me, for sure. Rough. 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 Rough and rough. So I definitely need to wipe this guy out. He's in range. That's also in range. So I can just kill them without killing what's in front of them. But obviously that has some negative effects. I've not gotten the overkill, any more overkill cards. These let me overkill adjacent and monsters. They don't let. I haven't gotten any of the card that let me overkill the siege engine. I had one of those early. I have this card will give me another red die because I do want to get all my red dice. This, the closer that gets, again, that's going to do 2 damage to the turret. If I get 2 more damage here, remember that's going to have to come out, so that's a problem. The Rune Witch, I have no damage over here, so I'm not that worried about that. But, you know, getting this probably makes sense so I can flip that. Yeah, let me do that. I'm going to take the 4. I'll take the 5. We'll kill the null pack. And I could always flip that 6 if I want. Actually, let me keep the 5. I'm going to flip this over, make this 4 or 5. Let me just use these champions. Now I'm going to use, I get 2 strength from this, 2 strength from this. I'm going to use one of these, ooh. Nope, I'm going to use I think I should keep all my blue dice. I'm going to kill both of those guys at some point. So that's going to give me 8, so I can keep the Dragonkin Warlord. I'm going to use the Dragonkin Warlord to double this 6 and add the 1. That's 13. That's enough to kill this. And that gives me a champion. +1 strength against a blue monster. Or I could just use it to heal that. I mean, the good thing is if I let this come down, it's only a 10 to kill next turn, but I would need to get that card as well. So that is somewhat high priority. This gives me the overkill ability, but it's a little waste to use it on that guy. Another red die. Get this, kill that. I've killed 1 siege engine. Obviously, I don't care about that so much. That was a little annoying. Yeah, let me spend the 5 and the 4 to defeat the Lycan Mage. Gets overkill ability on a monster. Swap 2 adjacent cards. If I only kill 1, that leaves me 9 left, so that means I'm kind of committing to defeating 3 the next couple rounds. That's fine. I'm going to use the Undead Samurai to flip these 2. I really want to block the effect thing. It's really strong. And then, so I switched 2 adjacent cards. I'm going to just discard this champion to heal this 1, because I'm not going to be messing with that this turn. And then I'm going to spend this 6 and this 4 to kill the Gargan Priest. And then since I overkilled by 2, I can discard the Lycan Mage and overkill an adjacent monster. So I get this one and this one. That's a pretty effective turn for me, I think. I only killed 1 siege engine, but overall, I kind of like where we're at. I like what we're dealing with still. Although that's going to provide... Oh. That's not the greatest, but I can take the 2 damage to that turret, to be honest. I definitely just don't want to keep forfeiting dice. I didn't gain any dice back. I still have 2 in my supply. The fact that I don't have my full dice pool yet is not great. So end of the round, we're going to get 1 damage here, 1 damage here. These 2 go out. We have 9 left to kill with 3 more rounds to do it. Everything comes down. We're going to add a siege engine up here. These flip. It is the Breach Tower. That's a super interesting one. And then we add 4 monsters. It's the Rune Witch, the Undead Samurai, the Gargan Priest, and the Troll Brute. And this sucker comes down to here. We're going to go to the next round. We roll our dice. Oh, did I forget to do an event? Oh, tell me I didn't forget to do an event. I forgot to do an event. Ah! I forgot to do an event. The event was activate a thing that was not in range. That was in range. That was in range. Yeah, so lucky shot. An archer on the wall knocks an arrow. She tracks a pale green goblin clambering onto a siege engine. She lets loose. The arrow cuts through the air and then pierces the goblin. His body slumps over, but his tiny hand reaches up to pull a lever, and the cogs of the siege engine begin to turn to initiate its attack. I don't know if you guys can hear that. If you guys can hear that, I forgot to close the door to my basement. There's a lot of construction going on in my house right now. So that's why if I seem a little bit like distracted. This was in range, so that's not helpful. That wasn't in range. This was in range. This was in range. And that was in range. So I think the only one that wasn't in range was the Ogre's Reach. Well, which is rough. So it means I should have added 2 more. Did I gain her last turn? No, I did not. Did I use her last turn? I did. I can't refigure that math. It's impossible. So she should have been discarded. I'm pretty sure I could have accomplished the same thing I accomplished, but she would have been out. Because I definitely had a couple of pips I didn't use near the end, so that should have been 2 more damage because of the Ogre's Reach, because of the Lucky Shot card. So again, that was the event from last turn. Just forgot to pull it. So 3 more rounds, 9 more siege engines to go. Let's make this happen. So I'm going to roll my dice as phase 1. That's a 1 blue, 2 reds, and a 1 blue, 2 red 2s, and a blue 2, a blue 3, 3 blue 4s, and 3 red 4s, and 2 red 5s. We're going to activate the siege engines. I'm going to play the Gargan Priest to block that effect. Oh, I lose. Oh, I can't. It's so stupid. Never mind. I'm going to forfeit a die. So this goes back. This is not going the right direction, and I forfeit a champion. I have to use a Gargan Priest to prevent that. We're going to not have to do that. I have to reroll 1/5. And now that's now a 4. Alrighty then. Well, interesting. I've lost 2 dice because of this jerk, but now it's only a 10 to kill. I'm going to double the value of my 5 and take care of that right off the bat. Gives me a champion. Now, if there's a siege tower in the vanguard at the end of a round, when at the end of the round, when you take damage from anything that's in the vanguard, you actually would lose the game that way. It just immediately overruns your wall, and that's not great. So we won't have to deal with that now. We're gonna get. I'm gonna use both these champions to get +3 against this Orc Archer, and then I can use this 3 blue to get to 6. That's totally legit. Again, Holy Dice can usually not be used alone to kill something. However, you can combine them with champions to kill a red enemy, and that gives me a red die, so I can roll that. I got a 2 because I didn't have enough 2s, and I really needed some more. I'm going to... That's a 12. I definitely need to do that. Yeah, hold on a sec. I'm getting distracted. Let me go close my basement door. Alright, sorry about that. Live and in color, kids. Woo! So that's going to be 12 to kill that. Definitely need to do that. I could just block the effect of it again, but I do need to kill this dude. I mean, the load in isn't great. Double. Yeah, I'm going to use another Dragonkin Warrior to double that 4, makes it an 8, plus 4 more. Kill this dude. Get another champion. 2 against the siege engine could be helpful. Yeah, I'm going to use that 2. It's Sir Quentin. These 4, this 4, and these 2 2s are going to kill this siege engine. It's another champion. Could fit here. +1 blue magic against a blue thing. I only have red dice at this point, so that's not going to be super helpful. So I'm going to actually discard Brother Benson to heal 1. Notice I can't even discard to heal there. I can't even get any more. What was the event for that? Did I forget to do it again? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Shaman's Ritual. With knowledge of the deep soil, Null Shamans tap into the I told you, I was told like this construction was like really distracting me. Shamans tap into the fountain with the connection to the Pater trees. Orc shamans ask for a direct link to the fountain. Before you stand, a dozen gnolls with hands in the ground and 3 orcs holding saplings. Crackling energy emerges from the earth and surrounds a siege engine. We have to add 2 to the farthest. Great, so we just have 2 magic power on that. So not a huge deal, but thank you for pointing that out for sure. Don't I have so many blue enemies, and I just have so few blue dice because I've had a forfeit too, and I just haven't gotten any more witches to get them back. So I think that's really going to be, we can probably just go and like, hey, we're not trying to get the ultimate victory here. We're just trying to get a victory. That's going to be a lot more doable. I can't get either of those. I have 2 blue dice, which is just not enough. Having to forfeit, having the double effect of that. I mean, there's just the events were not super great. So let me make the max use of these dice, I think. So I'm going to use the null pack to flip this to a 5. I'm going to use a Gargoyle Talon to have the 7 here, which kills the Troll Brute. That comes down, and then we use this 4 to wipe out the Goblin Warrior. And again, still 7 cards over here, which isn't terrible, but not looking the greatest. And then the Gargan Priest is in the Vanguard, so at this stage of the round, we're going to get 1 damage here. Everything advances down. And we need to replenish, so we're going to get, oh, wrong thing, we get 3 more out here. So it's the Flame and Rain, the Gargan's Eye, and the Trebuchet. We're going to add 4. It's a Gargan Talon, a Goblin Warrior, an Orc Archer, and an Orc Archer. There's all my extra red dice, but now I need blue dice, and that's terrible because the Gargan's Eye is now in range again. Rough. We go to the first phase. I'm going to roll all these dice. Wow, 3 1s and 2 2s, and another 1. That's a good roll. Woof. A red 3, a blue 3, a red 4, and a red 6. We're going to carry this out. That's not in range because it's in the 4th row, not the 5th or the 3rd. The Gargan's Eye means I have to spend a red and a blue. I have nothing to stop that. This means these should have been flipped over. I need to discard a champion and flip a champion. I will discard this champion. I will flip this champion. This means I have to add a fire token to the turret below because that is in range. And this is load in 1 adjacent troop card. We load in the one with the strongest strength. This is not clear what the strongest strength is. Is the 3 red stronger than the 2 red plus the 2 blue? It's a little ambiguous. I assume the 2 red and 2 blue is stronger. And so I'm going to have to put this up there, but again, there are some things that could be a little clearer. No, it's the highest. I'm sorry, it is the highest red. So this is, I misspoke. It is actually abundantly clear. So that's gonna go there. But I don't have enough blue dice at all to really make this competitive. Yeah, I just lost so many blue dice. Well, I forfeited. I could have forfeited red dice, but obviously I was kind of low on red dice for a while. But I don't have, without all my holy dice, without getting the witches, I think this is going to be a lost cause and probably best for a restart. I can obviously not let any more damage go there. The load-in's interesting. So now the strength of this is the 8 plus the 3, so it's 11 red, but it's still got the 2 blue magic because of the event. Oh, speaking of events, wow. Accidents happen. A squire gathers up equipment and potions for knights and wizards on the front line. He hands everything out as quickly as possible. When he finally has time to rest, he looks in his satchel to see if he has one potion left. He turns the bottle in his hand only to see a skull and crossbones on the label. Flip. My champion's face down, so that's awful. These events have been super special. There are some that are good. I got the one that was good that gave me champions, but obviously the champions didn't last very long. I think I only saw one thing that gave me like the overkill of a siege engine, which is problematic. I'd like to get the Lycan Mage. I don't have the 4. I just don't have the magic. I don't have the you lost that magic feeling. Man, Gargan's Eye is just awful. Well, let me not have to deal with Gargan's Eye anymore. So I'm going to do this. Undead Samurai is dead. 4, that's dead. I'll use... Look at these dice, man. It's so bad. I'm going to use this 6 to kill the Orc Archer. I have all my red dice, but I can discard the Orc Archer to get a red die back and re-roll it, and I rolled a 1. Oh, that's super awesome. Troll Brute, I'm going to make that a 6. This can go over here. I need 10 to kill this dude. That's doable. I'm going to spend this 6 and these 2 4s to kill this. So I survive at least. That gives me a champion. I get 2 red against a blue. That's not going to be helpful. So I'm going to just discard that to heal. And I think that's all I can do this round. We're going to go to the assigned damage phase. So damage, damage, damage. Vanguard goes away. Everything advances. We're going to put our last siege engine in play. We put so we have one more round to try to kill 4 siege engines. I don't think it's going to be doable with the setup. Oh, this would go here. Sorry about that. Oh, we have 5 siege engines in play. Whoa, if I only killed 1 that turn, yeah, this is a fool's errand, kids. 3 and 4. There's a red witch when you need it. I guess one of the red witches is out of the game. No, I don't know. I don't know what happened. This comes down. And now we go to the next round. Next round, I'd re-roll. I have these 2 1s, which are obviously useless. I'm going to re-roll the rest of my dice pool. 1, 2 2s, 3 3s, 2 blue 3s, a red 5, and a red 6. We're going to carry this out. Oh, I need to discard 1 champion and flip another. So champions have been super helpful. This Gargan's Eye is not in range right now, but it is a front thing, so I can attack it, but at least I don't have to spend 2 of my dice. This means I need to re-roll my 6. It's now a 5. This means I add a fire, and this means we load in this sucker. So definitely need to defeat this. The total strength here is 8 plus 3 plus 4, so 15, and I need 5 magic. So we're gonna I'm gonna change this to a 6. I used a lot of my doublers already, which is super unfortunate. One of the Ifrit and Flames was not in play, so that definitely changes things. So this is gonna be 11, 15 in red strength, and then this 6 I could, if I had another die, I could add it to it, but I don't have another blue die, so I don't get that. I lose out on the added strength, but that took all those dice just to do that. It does let me gain a blue die and roll one by using the red witch. I rolled a 1. Because of course I did. We have the Goblin Warrior. I'm going to put that over here. We get another champion. Ooh, nice. I can use Lady Oswin to reroll 2 red dice that I already spent, a 6 and a 1, because I am the 1 champion of the world lately. That 1 is really bad. I need a 14 for that. I could spend the Troll Brute to make that a 6. That's 12. I could, yeah, I'm not killing anywhere blue, so I'm going to spend the Pip. I'm going to spend the Goblin Warrior to make this a 2. I'm going to add this up for this 14. We're going to kill Gargan's Eye. That's another siege engine down. We get another champion. +1 magic damage against the red. And I don't think there's much more I can do. I can turn, I can kill 1 more siege engine. So I can make this into a, oh god, I forgot to do the event again. I'm like struggling. Camp Crud. The goblin launched into the castle by the trebuchet did not survive the landing. The unseen plague carried on his body did not survive and silently waited on loaves of bread and pitchers of brew. By day's end, your people are doubled over, excreting liquids from their mouths and their rears. Gross. 3 dice would have had been reduced by 1. I don't know. If I'll need +1 this turn. I need to get to 12. This is 14. I could add 1 to make it 15. -3 for that. We'll pretend I did that in the right order. And we've killed the trebuchet. That's going to let me get a champion. Remove all, that would have been helpful earlier. Remove all tokens from 1 card. I can just discard him to get rid of a damage. And I could discard him to get rid of a damage. And at the end of the round, we go damage, damage. These would go away. Everything advances. And that's a pretty emphatic, terrible. It's probably the worst game I've had in a while. So that's impressive. I'm glad it saved it to happen on camera because that's always super. It's always super fun. How badly did you lose? 2 to 5 undefeated siege engines. The captain of the watch, seeing the defeat in advance, enlisted the aid of the steward of the fortress to sneak you out through a secret tunnel. The swamp where you emerge is not a proud place, but you're alive and can plan for a second engagement. Fantastic. All right, let's do this again. Now that we got the rules down, I really need to do something about the event cards. I was a little distracted for sure, but like I definitely need to figure out like where I can put them or where I love reminder tokens and I just haven't found a good, where do I remind myself about the events? Like there's no great place. I guess I can, like if I put it on top of this, it just seems like there's no great location for them because you just, once you carry out the siege engines, it's like, all right, just go on to the next step of the game for sure. Johan says, hello, everyone. Adam says, Dice really love you now. Yoval, Greg, love watching you every time you're streaming. What's your opinion of Siege of Valeria? Also, do you plan on playing Burn Cycle and or Hopelmach's Return from CGG someday? I'll get back to that in a second. Adam says, event. Adam, you want to call me and like just on speaker just yell at me? Because clearly someone has a better memory than I do today, or every day at this point. Let's like stop pretending. Johan, I have thoughts about Burn Cycle. Didn't really like it, so that's the bottom line. I thought Burn Cycle was fine. The theme did not grab me. I am surprised how much love it gets. I think it's far too long for what it is. I don't think it really, it's a stealthy game. I don't think it gave me the feeling of anxiety that I would want if I'm like supposed to be all stealthy and trying to get around to not get caught. I found the game when you're winning boring, and when you're losing, the loss can happen so quick that like you're one really bad decision away from just utter demise. I don't think there's like a good mechanism to kind of overcome a bad start. I find it just really grindy. I didn't find a level up system all that interesting. I mean, the way you're spending power, which is also health. I've only played twice. I found the side game to be really unengaging for me. So I had a lot I didn't like about Burn Cycle. I think it's fine. I could see why people really love that puzzle. I just I it was the biggest miss for me from Chip Theory, and I did not pay for it. I did not buy it. I was not given a review copy. I played my friend's copy twice. So if I had had more time to explore it, maybe. But again, that's a long game for what it is, and I just didn't. Um, that is not a game you'll ever see on my channel. I can pretty much guarantee you of that. As for Hopalocus Victorum, I did back Hopalocus Victorum. At this point, the only thing from that Kickstarter that I've been really, exploring is going to be all the Chip Theory game, all the Too Many Bones stuff I got. I am very excited to dig into Hopalocus Victorum. That is also very backburnered for me for a while. I get a bunch of review copies I need to get to, or I want to get to first, as out of respect for the publishers who sent them to me. So I'm going to be focusing on that primarily in the next 2-3 months. But I do hope to get to Victorum sometime this summer. I am wondering if I should have purchased remastered because of the one-off nature, as opposed to the campaign that Victorum kind of forces you in. I'm kind of leaning away toward these long hours and hours of campaign kind of ideas. I just don't really have the time to really invest in it the way I want to. But I've heard like Liz Davidson had talked about that, and she's there's things about Victorium that I think I will really like when I can get around to actually playing it, and so I'm excited about that. It's just going to be a little bit. Mike James says Burn Cycle definitely takes more plays to fully appreciate. Yeah, and I think that's a lot for that's Shift Area games in general. And I think I'm at this point with games where I'm like, if I'm not grabbed by the theme on any level early on, like, do I want to invest the time? And like Burn Cycle for me is a hard no. I just don't. Um, I mean, Uprising for me that's a long game. It takes a lot of plays to appreciate, but I really liked something about it right away. Right, and again, that was a review copy sent to me by Nemesis Games. So you can take that with whatever grain of salt you want. But I was like, all right, I really dig this. This is doing interesting things. I like this world, and I just was really engaged with what was happening. Whereas Bird Cycle was just like, I don't know. There was like a game within the game, and it was just so long and grindy, and like I just found the ideas of it. They didn't grab me thematically. They didn't grab me mechanically. And again, if I want to play a stealth game, like I'm gonna play Resident Evil 3, where I feel like and again, that was also our review copy, so take that with a grain of salt, whatever grain of salt you want. Um, I'm going to, I'm being chased down a hall by zombies, right? The Burn Cycle thing and the puzzle, I think until you get the rules down, like it's hard to feel the anxiety of like, oh no, the little robot bot things are gonna find me, and I'm also a robot bot, and I don't know. There's something about that game that was just a miss for me personally. Um, but the tutorial mission was. It looks like they did a good job. It looks like they're learning how to write better rule books. It looks like they're doing a lot. It's shift theory, man. I mean, there's a level of of awesome they bring, and for some people, like if that's your favorite chip theory game, I'm not gonna say you're crazy. Like that's awesome. Like I have friends that really don't like Too Many Bones. I taught someone Classfire yesterday, and I was like, I think he liked it, but it was like, what is this? Like every chip theory game is going to be an acquired taste. So, or at least a learning curve that you're going to have to really invest that time. And I have very upfront have not invested the time I need to really enjoy Burn Cycle, and I just don't expect that I'm going to, like, ever. I'm much more excited about Hopalocus than I would be about Burn Cycle if I owned both. I personally enjoy Burn Cycle more than Too Many Bones or Hot Bow, and I was put off of it at first. I got it. I get if some people don't see what I see. The stealth aspect is oversold. It's stealth adjacent at best. Cool. I appreciate that. And Sagitt, what's up? What's up, sir? Maybe that's a thing. Maybe I was just so I was told stealth, 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 and I went in and I was expecting stealth, and I was like, "What is this?" Um, so maybe that's a really interesting point, Mike. I think if I approached the game now and didn't expect stealth and just expected puzzle, I might I might give it a better shake. I think that's food for thought, Mike. I appreciate it. I will ponder this along with everything else I ponder. All right, the Gargan Priest block the effect of one. Oh, what an amazing combo of starting cards. We're gonna win this, and we're gonna have an emphatic victory. Because I need an emphatic victory today is what I did. I started the game rolling so well the last game, and then it just kind of devolved into garbage. But we have the Gargan Priest block the effect of one siege engine, and then we have the Red Witch, which will allow me to gain and roll one blue die, and then gain one champion. And again, I can just spend that right when the game starts, which is a really nice way to start. I'm trying to look at my focus. Can I do much better? I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't really think I can. All right. We're going to have our starting thing. I will spare you the titles this time around because I think we have a decent idea of who is amongst us in our little party. Woo, the Troll Brutes are having a... What? Did I shuffle these? Did I not shuffle these? Why are all the Troll Brutes together? And then why are these guys together? No, I had... I don't know if I shuffled these. I'm going to shuffle them again. I feel like there's no... That's just very strange. I think I might have shuffled everything else. I don't know. Did I shuffle everything else? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna. It just that was really weird. It was like the odds of the three troll brutes being together. Instead of, I might have just flipped the discard pile over, which just seems more likely. But who knows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So long for my really two strong starting cards. Those are over here, and we'll shuffle these. Yeah, I don't think I shuffled those. Sagitt, like this is the closing dialogue. Well, looks like I'll rewatch the baseline then. No shuffle. Thanks you, Adam. I was like, something isn't adding up. I got yammering away about burn cycle. Sagitt, no, this is not the closing dialogue. We're starting over. We got more in store, baby. This is I got my ass kicked though, so you missed something you would have enjoyed, Sagitt. There are no manticores though, so you might not have enjoyed it all that much. Oh man, it's a level of sickness that I'm like, I can I can start putting out cards like pretty early. I'm like, these don't what? Something just feels wrong. I didn't shuffle these. All right, cool. There, Gargan Priest is back. Oh, and the Lycan Mage. All right, that's also a good combo. So now with our freshly shuffled pack of cards here, look at all this variety. Ah, so much better. So much more logical. We did not get the extra die, but I will take the Lycan Mage for sure. Especially since there's a Red Witch on the board, as it is. Done. Starting siege engines. The Incendiaries. The Breach Tower. The Gargan's Eye. Blech. The Ballista. And the Ogre's Reach. Rough. Alright. So I hate you. I don't know if I can run that up the gut, but I do have the Gargan Priest, so I can block them at least next round. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Alright, I'm going to try to use this somewhere where I will remember to do this silly event. Maybe if I put it in with the dice. Dig. I'm going to put this over here, and that will just be there and hopefully continue to jog my memory about the events. So rolling. Johan, gotcha. Thank you. Looking forward to some Hoplo then. Sajid, how about scouts? Any scouts? No scouts, sir. Mike says, yeah, when I thought about all the rules surrounding combat, the bot skills focused on combat items and mods for combat, I realized the stealth is just part of it to be used as a tool in burn cycle. Maurice, what? You're not playing a cute game today? I'm a cute games are on Fridays, dude. Look out for I wouldn't even mention a name because I'm gonna ruffle someone's feathers. I've enjoyed cute games sometimes. Here we go. All right, I rolled a 1. I rolled a 4. Another 4. A 5. Another 5, which is blue. A blue 6 and a red 6 to boot. I'm gonna do an event, guys. Well, first we do this. I have to re-roll 1 5. I'm gonna re-roll the blue 5. It's now a 2. I'm going to not in range, not in range, not in range, not in range. And I'm going to pull an event because I'm not going to ever forget to do that. Trained warriors! The drum beats roll in from the rear guard, a slow and steady rhythm. Suddenly, 5 cracks of drumsticks clacking against each other come from the front lines. The drums begin to beat faster and louder. The troops at the front straighten up, draw their swords, and begin to march forward in unison. Add a thing to each red dude in the vanguard. Woof. That's not ideal. Well, kind of makes this decision easier. I really wish that was a 3. Yeah, I wish I had a 3 blue instead of a 2. I can get a 3 blue though. Let me do this. I'm going to spend this 6 and this 4. So the 4 red matches that. The 3 blue. We're going to get ourselves the red witch. I'm going to discard the red witch immediately to gain and roll a blue die. Give me a 3 or a 2. It's another 2. And I gain 1 champion. That's useless. I don't like you. You're kind of pointless. That's a thing. That is a thing. So we'll do this. Not worried. Definitely don't like you. All right, so I'm going to use this. Wolf. I'm going to use this 5. I'm going to use these 2 4s. These 2 2s just makes 4. And I'm going to use the Lycan Mage. I can overkill an adjacent red monster or blue monster. And that kills the Undead Samurai. And I'm going to overkill the Dragonkin Warlord. When I kill the Warlord, I can actually use that red thing to increase the pip of another die. I will make this a 5. I'm going to use... Oh, this should work out well. That's fine. I'm going to use this 5 to kill the Gargoyle Talon. I can use that to increase the pip of this. I'll make this a 2. I'm going to use a 6 to kill the Knoll Pack. That's going to increase the pip of a die. I'll make this a 3. And then I'll use the 3 to kill the Goblin Warrior. This goes over here. So I did not gain a red die, but I can gain a red die next turn. That should be fine. So a decent array of monsters added to my collection. All right, we have nothing in the Vanguard, so no damage. Everything moves down. We have 6 rounds now to kill 13 siege engines. These 2 are big concerns. That's not great. I don't see any more Gargan Priests. Neither one of those will be active next turn, but there'll be a problem 2 turns from now. This is a problem this turn. This is going to be a problem next turn. So if I can kill this and this turn, that would be fairly strong. This one's in range, so I can just kill it. This one would not be in range. So we'll have to kind of deal with that. Although, honestly, if he comes in, all he does is suck somebody else adjacent in with him. That's not the worst thing in the world. So we go to round 1. It's not the worst thing in the world. There are worse, I promise. I mean, not much, I guess. We're going to roll all of these dice. A 1, 2 2s, a 3, a 5, and 3 6s of assorted colors of blue and red. We're going to now carry out these. I made the reroll a 5. It's a 3. Nothing. I'm going to spend 1 red and blue, which means I'd have to put them over there. No, thank you. I'm going to use the Gargan Priest to prevent that effect. And that is all. God, what a terrible early hero. The Smith Lake kind of just lets me move a damage from one location to another, which could be great late. It's early. You just want the extra damage early for sure. We're going to get an event, guys. There are events in this game. Oh, excellent. Friends arrive. We read this last time. We're going to get 2 more champions. Hopefully they're better. Increase the pip of 5 dice by 1. I did shuffle these, right? Did I not shuffle these? No, I know I shuffled those. Why am I losing my mind, guys? I'm pretty sure I shuffled those. I mean, there's not that many champions. Yeah, I had to shuffle those. Yeah, because this was early in the discard pile. So we're going to use her. We're going to get these bumped up. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2. We're going to use one of these 6s to defeat the Orc Archer. It gives me a red die. I can add that to the thing. I rolled a 4. Excellent. I'm going to use... I want to get the 13. I just want to kill him. Double the value of 1 die. +1 against the red. Definitely want that. Definitely want that too. Ah! That's blue though. Man, these dice rolls are not the greatest. I'm going to use this 5 and a 4. I mean, this 6 and a 6 is a 5 and a 4. And get the Enflamme. So I can spend 2 extra magic to overkill a thingamajig. I could just kill these and just let that come all the way down to the bottom. It's not the worst idea. Don't want to kill anything more on that row because that's a super problem. I do want to get the Dragonkin. Alright, I'm going to use a null pack to flip this to a 5. I'm going to use a Dragonkin Warrior to double the 5 to a 10, and I'm going to use a 3. And we're going to wipe that dude out. Again, he's in range, so I can attack it. That's the first siege engine down. That's going to give me a champion. +1 magic against a blue enemy. So I wish if I was going to do that anyway, I wish I did that first, because it would have been much more efficient with the Frith and Flom. I think I let the Samurai do damage. Yeah, I don't have much to do against the Samurai. That's fine. I'm going to use this 4. Excuse me. Puberty is a bitch. I'm going to use a 4 to get rid of the Gargoyle Talon. I'm going to use this 4 to get me this Gargoyle Talon. And then I'll use this to make this a 5. And then I'll use a 5 and a 3 to kill the Dragon King. Warlord. And just killed 1 siege engine, so we'll have 12 left with 5 rounds to take care of them. Alright. End of the round, this guy does a damage and goes away from the Vanguard. Everything else advances. These 2 are going to be a big problem next turn. Not so much this turn. I might just let him load up again, and then I'll just deal with him that way. I mean, you have to spend dice to kill the enemies anyway, so you're just basically killing them all at once with the breach tower. It just makes things a little bit more crowded because, again, they are considered to occupy the same spot. We're going to replenish. We got to put this thing up here. Oh, that's the wrong thing. We put this thing up here, and then we put out 4 more enemies. It's a Lycan, a Gargan Priest, a Null Pack, a Goblin Warrior, and a Red Witch. So extra dice, I have an extra die opportunity there. I definitely want to get the Dragonkin Warlords back. We're going to flip that guy face up. We're going to roll these dice. I still have 2 reds and a blue in the supply that I have not gained yet. Whoa, that's a lot of ones. 4 ones out of 8 dice. What's the math on that? Oh, that's absolutely garbage. Where's the thing that lets me reroll dice I haven't used? Oh, that's the kiss of death, dude. That's so bad. Well, I could change the dice to a 6 if I get those. Wow. That's really bad. It's horrendously bad. Okay. That's fine, and be fine, I mean terrible. We're going to carry out these effects. We have to reroll a 5. We're going to reroll the blue 5. That's a 2. Load an adjacent troop card. The Troll Brute comes here. Not in range, not in range, not in range. These 2 are my biggest issues for next turn, for sure. Wow. Did I seriously just roll 4 ones? Yes, you did, Greg. Yes, you did. Because you are impressive. You're really good at board games. All right. Let's do the event before I forget. Battle Lust. The blood soaks into the soil and feeds the fountain. The Knoll Shaman digs his claws into the ground, eager to find a secret boon that the old gods have promised him. He feels something. He digs in a frenzy until he pulls out a livery silver spear. Add 2 to the strongest in the vanguard. Ugh, that's interesting. There's something that lets you re-roll dice. I just haven't, seen it. This guy's in range. This guy's in range. Well, he's also in the front. I think I'm gonna take that down anyway, so rough. Don't really have much of a choice here. So Dragonkin Warlord, I'm going to use that to double this to a 10. That's enough to kill the other Dragonkin Warlord, so I gain him. I can add 2 pips to a die. I will add it to this to make this a 6. So that's over here. I'm going to do the Street of Flame, so I'm going to add a 6. I'm going to add 2 magic to overkill an adjacent thing. So we used this, we gained this, we killed this. And that's going to give me a champion. Two, these are out. 2 against a blue. I have 1 against, well, I have that against the blue. It means he's fairly attractive. I don't have something to ignore the result. I could potentially get that by doing the Gargoyle Talent, which will let me just ignore that thing, because that's terrible. Ignore that thing. I like that. So I'm going to use the Gargoyle Talon to attack a non-adjacent card. I'm attacking that dude. I'm going to add 2 against him, 2 red against him, and 1 blue against him, and use the 1 and the 1, and I get the Gargoyle Priest, the Gargan Priest. That's super important for next round, so I can just ignore that because we saw that one from me last game. Now, how the heck I'm going to try to make this work? I can use... I don't want to lose this Dragonkin Warlord, but it's a lot of damage to do to him just to try to save him from getting swept away, so I think I just let him go. I can use this 6 and this 1 to defeat the Troll Brute. It gives me 4 left. Yes, I never discarded the Orc Archer to gain the red die, so I'll do that. I rolled a 3. Do I take the Dragonkin anyway now? I think the doubling value is going to be potentially more important than the Troll Brute. So I'm going to use Sir Chunan to get +1 against the red monster. This is 7. 6. Yeah, I don't have a lot of great options. I mean, I could try to maybe make one of these a 6, but then that math gets funky, so I'll just hold on to that card. So that's 7 from the 3 dice, plus the 1 from that, so that's 8, so we get this Dragonkin Warlord. End of the round, we get a damage here. Troll Brute goes away. Everything comes down. So we've killed 2 siege engines in 3 rounds. That means we have 11 left in 4 rounds, which is rough. That math is like 2, 3, 3, 3, and we pretty much have to stick to that tempo. Doing 4 in 1 round is really hard. This is going to get added over here. It is the incendiaries. I'm fine with that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This comes down here. We are going to re-roll our dice. We have a reminder token about the events. Still missing a red and a blue, which is not ideal. I can get a blue there. These will get readied. That's a better roll. 2, sorry, it's off camera a little bit. 2 red 3s, 2 red 4s, 3 red 5s, a blue 5, and a blue 6. Let me get some on the chat. Wait, no, I'll leave that for a second. Much sadness is Sagitt, though a much anticipated Kickstarter is delivering next few days. Finally, I'm stoked, so stoked. What are you waiting for, sir? This is how it started with decent rolls, says Adam. Sagitt, I know that bluestone mineral from somewhere. And Adam says, think you did. You are looking for snake eyes. All hail king of ones. By the way, 4% is a probability of only 4 ones. 9 d6s, you are welcome. Excellent. I'm crushing it. All right. I have to re-roll the 5. I'll re-roll this blue 5. It's a 4. Not terrible. This means I need to add the null pack. So that's now 8, 20 to kill that. It's not terrible. This is not in range. I'm going to use the Gargan Priest to prevent this effect, because that's super nasty, and I have to re-roll another 5 with the another incendiaries. That's a 1, because of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? I'm I am going to do this 5 and this 4 to get the Frit and Flamme. That's perfect. I'm going to get... that's really nasty. I need to kill this, and I need to kill that. So you're saying there's a chance. I'm going to... We have some decent options. So I need 20 here. I'm not going to stop messing around with that. I'm going to double this to a 12. I don't really need blue dice anymore, so I'll just use the 6 to double this to a 12. I need 8 more. Remember, magic damage can add strength to red dice. It's a little weird, but it is what it is. And I will do these 2 4s. So that's 20. That kills all these dudes. I get the Null Pack. I get the Troll Brute. I get a champion. I only have one more spot for a champion, so we'll put that over here. That's not great. I'm going to discard Brother Benzine to heal that because I need more space. I'm going to use the Null Pack to flip this to a 6. Nope. I will not do that yet. The Red Witch could be helpful for sure. Yeah, I know how I want to kill this for sure. It's just annoying. So I'm going to spend a 5 to get the Null Pack out. Yeah, 10 over here. I'm going to get an extra 1 against a red. That's 4. And then I'm going to use this and Enfreet and Flam to kill the Gargoyle Talon. And then I get to overkill, since I spent the 2 magic, to overkill against the Ballista. That's out. I get another champion. Re-roll 2 spent red dice and reuse them. Yes, freaking please. So I'm going to discard that guy. I'm going to re-roll these 2 reds. I get a 6, a 2. I need to get a 10. That's fine. I have this left and this left. I have no more blues. So that's... yeah, there's nothing I can really do with that. I'm good though. So I'm going to spend this 10 to wipe out these incendiaries. That gives me a champion. +1 to a red die. Great. I'm going to flip this, make it a 3, and kill the Goblin Warrior. Oh my gosh. I forgot to get a freaking event. Because I am terrible at games. Add 2 to the closest. Gargan's Blessing, add 2 magic damage to the closest thing. So Gargan's Blessing. Gargan, the old god of gargoyles and fiery earth, shadow in the ocean, and guardian the house of Uvia, was sent to the oversleep by Zamor, the red dragon. On occasion, when a prayer is uttered to him and the right sacrifices are made, he opens his eyes and blesses those who ask his power. I mean, honestly, I think there's no way to replay this because it is what it is. I think I got this guy at some point. What I would have had to do is use this 2 early, but then I would have been able to at some point I would have gotten this, and then the way these dice worked, don't remember what I used them on. I had all the pips. I would have had to use some things differently. I remember once I killed that one of the siege engines, I would actually gotten 2 more pips on another die. So I think between some combination of getting those 2 back and having this, I don't think it would have been an issue, because in some ways I would have netted 2 more pips had I did that. because I never even used this guy. So if I, between the combination of using this guy and getting the +2 when I killed that, I don't think it would have been a problem. I didn't kill that many blue things, and I would have had the blue magic. I mean, I killed the Infrit en Flamme with a 4. Oh, honestly, when I overkilled that guy, this would have been the closest one. That's, yeah, that would have been the closest one. Because everything else, was anything else close? Oh, this was also close. Yeah, because this was a 20 here. And that was a 12 here. And this was up here. So I would have wiped him out as normal. Yeah, I think everything else plays out. What I would have had is 2 more magic on here. The question is, did I have 10 at the end? What did I use that? I used that blue die for the overkill. The 20. This is rough. The 20 was this. That was 12, and that. But I would have needed 2 more. I would have had to use this. I don't think I can refigure it, guys. There's no way. There's no way. Say I put it on this guy. Trying to rebuild this a little bit. What was the last thing I did? It was... The last 3 dice I had were a... I know it added the 10. I get a blue die from there. Someone can tell me the last 3 dice I had. I can figure it out from there. I don't know, something about the events, man. They're really hard for me to remember. Or I just go super easy. What the hell was the last thing I pulled? Him? No, it wasn't him. It was her. No, it wasn't her. What the hell was the last one I pulled? I don't remember any of this. You were welcome. Red 5 standing by. Anyway, got a bell now too, guys. Good luck to the orcs. Did I say event? All good. No, it's not. It's annoying me. Is the next one a positive one? Yeah, I'm gonna pretend these were different. I can't. I'm not refiguring this. It's impossible. I can't, like, if I knew what the last 3 cards were, I think there's a way I could have made it work. I still never use this guy. I never use this guy. I think I could have actually, like, combined that, killed the red witch. I get a blue die from that. I have a doubler. There are definitely ways. I did not use all my benefits here, but to try to figure it out this way is just a waste. So we got foresight, and I just won't even use foresight. Well, maybe a mother. So a foresight, a mother holding a door stands outside your door. You wave the guards aside. Before you can tell her that you're very busy with the siege, her daughter turns her head from her mother's bosom and looks at you with cold white eyes. A living oracle. Akila has blessed this young girl with the gift of foresight. I look at the top 3 events and return them in any order. I just won't do that, and I just won't get that benefit. That's the only way I can really figure that out. Everything else is where it should be now. And this is what I get. Like, I get distracted by that, and like, ugh. I'm struggling today, kids. All right, let's go to the next round. I'm gonna roll all these dice. We have a red and a blue. Sorry about that. If I always try to rebuild it if I can, but that was just too much, and I just couldn't remember the dice that I had left. So I got way ahead of myself. I'm all discombobulated. These move down. We're gonna put 3 new siege engines in the thing. There was nothing in the vanguard, so I didn't take any damage there. So again, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 16. So we killed 3 that round. That was round 3. So we somehow killed. Was it? What do we do? 1, 2, 3. That's really strong. So we have 8 left in 4 rounds. I like those odds. Math. This comes here. This goes here. This goes here, and this goes here. These come down and join the thing. We should have 12 left in here. Great. So I rolled the dice. We're going to take the effects. I have to discard one of these and flip another one. I'll discard you. I'll flip you. We're going to not have to do the ballista. We don't have to do the battering ram. That's a problem for next turn though. And then we do have to do the trebuchet. And then we have to re-roll a 5 with the incendiaries. That 5 became a 4. We're going to do the event because I would never forget that. Oh, act surprise. The blood soaks to the soil and feeds the fountain. The Null shaman digs his claws into the ground, eager to find a secret boon that the old gods have promised him. He feels something. He digs in frenzy until he pulls out a glittering silver spear. Add 2. No, where was the thing we just had? Yeah, I don't know why that happened. This was the one we just had. Gargan's Blessing. Gargan, the old god of gargoyles and fiery earth, shadow in the ocean, and guardian of the house of Uvia. He was sent to oversleep by Zamor the red dragon. On occasion, when a prayer is uttered to him and the red sacrifices are made, he opens his eyes and blesses those who ask his power. Add 2 to the closest thing. We'll add this over here. Maybe if they were a standout color, that's a solid roll. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just, for some reason, like they're just out of sight, out of mind. Like there's like it's like a rhythm thing, you know. It's like when I was learning Robinson Crusoe, the way the board was, you had to go here, 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 and like I would always forget like the event or something. One of the one of the reasons I really grew to dislike that game. There's something about like the flow where you're rolling dice, you're doing this, and it's like, oh great, spend your dice. It's like no event, doing this event, then spend your dice. I mean, the card is as clear as freaking day, so like it's definitely just a mental block thing with me more than a game problem. So I'm gonna get +2 magic and do that, and that's not great. So I'm gonna just spend the 4. We'll kill the red witch. I'm gonna spend the red witch, get the final blue die. It's a 5, and then we get a champion 2 against the siege engine. I'm going to rolled really well. I'm gonna use him and spend the 4 to kill the null pack. I just need 10 here. I don't want that to be a deal. That I can deal with one more round. That is a super problem. I have no more entreat on Floms. Yeah, really, and I have nothing to ignore that effect. The forfeit 1 die is just an absolute non-starter for me. So that I want to go. I want to kill these 3. That's gonna be rough. So this is only a 10 with the 2 magic dice. So I will use this 6, this 4, and I'll use this 5. Kill the incendiary. Oh, nope, nope. Shoot, I can't do this efficiently, can I? Well, I definitely don't want to get rid of him. I'm going to get rid of Lady Guria. There's nothing to heal Hunter thing, but that's fine. 6, 4, 5 defeats the incendiaries, gives me a new champion. Remove all, and then I can spend those 2 tokens I got to make this a 6. And then, of course, I get the remove all tokens from any one card. That could have been helpful. A second earlier, dude. Um, sure, I'll use these to kill the Red Witch. I'm going to get rid of this, discard the Red Witch. I can't get any more blue dice. I don't have any, but it lets me re-roll the die instead. I just have nothing but 6s. I'm going to be so inefficient in how I'm using these. I don't know from the rules if I can add 1 to a d6 and make it a 7. It's not totally said. So that's a little unfortunate. Fine, I'm going to use this 6 and this 6 to wipe out this Troll Brute. And now that's the front, I can attack it. I'm going to use the Sir Quentin to give me +2 against a siege engine. That's 12, +2 is 14. We killed the ballista. I will discard this to gain a new one. It's Sir Panther, Sir Panther, who definitely looks like Black Panther. Uh, and 2 against a red. I'm assuming that's intentional, but what do I know? Lower each one red. I did not kill that, which is annoying. But I killed the 2 most important, I think. No, incendiary I had to kill those at a lost, and then the ballista is obviously, I think, more annoying than a battering ram, so hopefully I don't roll super bad next turn, because that could be pretty gross. Alright, the Goblin Warrior survived. So we're going to put that there. Vanguard goes away. Everything else moves down. We have to replenish. We're adding 2 more ballistas. Okay, that was 4 rounds. We've managed to kill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. So there's 6 left. We have 3 rounds to do it. So 2 a round is pretty nice. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. It gives me another red die like that. These come down. We're going to roll the dice. Yeah, it's a little off camera. Sorry about that. 2 blues that are 1s. We get a red 1. We get 2 red 2s. We get 2 blue 3s. We get a red 4. And we get a red 3 and 2 red 6s. We're going to carry out these things. That is not in range. These would all refresh. I have to re-roll 1 6 with the catapult. It's a freaking 1, because of course it is. Battering ram, I have to lower each die by 1, so this becomes a 5. Each red die by 1. This becomes a 3. This becomes a 2. I have 6 1s now. That's super awesome. Add a fire to here, and the ogre's breath is out of reach. That's not that problematic because I have no damage there, but not ideal to take 2 damage there next turn. I'm going to do the event. We're going to do Battle Lust, the Blood Seeks. I already read this. We're adding 2 to the strongest red in the Vanguard. This is the Vanguard. There's only 1 of them, so that gargoyle is now a 6. And now we can go to by actions. I'm going to use those 2 dice to kill the Rune Witch. I'm going to discard the Rune Witch to re-roll all my dice. I'm re-rolling every die that is a 3 or less. The Rune Witch, I have another Rune Witch there, which could be really helpful if I need it. So 2 more 1s, another 1, but I got a 3, 2 red 4s, a red 5, and a blue 5. So that's a decent upgrade. Obviously, this is becoming more problematic. That lets me overkill. That's not that strong right now. I can do that. All right, I'm going to use this 4 and this guy to kill the gargoyle. That can let me up the pips of 2 different dice, or up the 1 die by 2 with those 2 tokens. I will make one of these a 6. I'll make both of these a 6. I'm going to use a Dragonkin Warlord to double that, make that a 12, and then use this, so that's 14. Let me have discarded this guy to heal. This is out. We get another thing coming in. It's reroll 2 spent blue dice to reuse them. That could be good. We're going to use the 6 on the Orc Archer. Finally get my last red die. It's a 3. I'm gonna make... Man, I'm tempted. Yeah, I'm gonna make this 1 into a 2 with that, and then I'm gonna use this. It gives me 2 blue against a blue enemy, so I killed the Rune Witch. I think I might hold on to it for next turn. I'm not worried about the catapult. Another damage there is not great. Now that this one is the front, so that's fine. The Ogre's Reach is pretty terrible. Don't know if I can kill both of them. I do have Troll Brutes, however. 6 plus 7. Yeah, I'm going to use a Troll Brute to make this into a 6. I'm going to use this 6. That's 13. I only need 13 because it's in the second column. And that is enough to kill the Trebuchet. I've used all of my stuff. I will not get rid of Sir Nathan. Move 1 thing to an open space. Oh, that's super interesting. Great. I'm going to get rid of this guy to make room for this guy, which you can totally do. For some reason, I just always like to do it ahead of time. I'm going to move this Ogre's Reach to an open space. I'm going to move it here. And then I'm going to use a Goblin Warrior to add 1 to this die. And then this is now 10 because I moved it to an open space. And I've killed the Ogre's Reach. So that's out and gives me another thing. It's +1 red against the blue. Yeah, this is going much better. So that's the end of the round. I get 1 damage over here. We killed 3 more things. This guy goes away because he was in the Vanguard. The question is, can I have 13 cards by the end of this? Everything else comes down. We're going to put the last thing over here, add 4 enemies. It's an Orc Archer. It's a Lycan Mage. It's an Orc Archer. And, oops, sorry about that. And the last one is a Rune Witch. I'm going to re-roll all my dice now that I have the entire lot of them. Take this over here. So we have 2, 2, 3, 3. These all refresh as well. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, and 6. Alright, carry out these effects. I have to discard a dude. I'm going to discard this dude and flip a dude. That actually could be helpful. I will discard this dude and flip this dude. There's a lot of blue over here that I want to use. That's fine. I have to re-roll a 6. I'll re-roll a blue 6. Ugh, made it a 1 because of course I did. This should have come down. I have to re-roll another 6. I'll re-roll this blue 6. It's now a 5. That's better. And I have no more siege engines on the board. So we win immediately if I defeat all the siege engines this turn. I don't want to do that. So I still want to get the 13 cards, but I have 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's pull the event before I forget. And 6, oh, that's great. Shore up the walls. A small boy begins bringing buckets of water to a burning turret. Then a recently widowed peasant brings planks of wood to another turret. Sure enough, one by one, the peasants understand that the fight is not only beyond the walls, they too can fight with hammers, mortar, and sweat. Remove all damage from one turret. Turret's just a good word. All right, let's make this happen. I'm going to spend the 6 and the 2 and the 2 to kill the flaming rain. And we're going to get a dude +2 magic against a red monster. I'm going to spend this 4, this 5, and this 4 to kill a lichen mage. I can overkill a monster. When I kill a monster, I can overkill to kill when I kill anything, actually, I can overkill by 2 to kill an adjacent monster, which is great. I'm going to spend the 5 to kill the null pack. I'm going to spend... Yeah, just let them both come down. I'm kind of fine with this. The 5... Well... The 5... So +1... Yeah, the 3... Oops, that was a 2, I think. Just based on where it was. It's 3... Someone let me know if that was not a 2. 3 +1 and this to kill the lichen mage. The 6 to kill the orc archer. And I have +2 against the red, yeah, 2. I think this was a 2 to kill the rune witch. And then I'll just use all of these. Yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy. All of these just to kill the orc archer. We're going to go to the next round. These guys come down. We had 4 enemies. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, the fact that these were last is kind of nice because they can be super close. They're not having any real effect on me. We're rolling all my dice. So we have a 4, 5, a 2, a blue 5, another blue 5, 1, 2 red 6s, a blue 6, another red 6, a 2, and a 3. And we're going to do the, carry out this. I have to re-roll a 6. It's a 4. Carry out this. I have to re-roll a 6. It's a 5. We're going to do the event before I forget. Shaman's Ritual. With knowledge of the deep soil, Knoll shamans tap into the fountain with a connection to the patter trees. Orc shamans ask for a direct link to the fountain. Before you stand a dozen gnolls with hands in the ground and 3 orcs holding saplings. Crackling energy emerges from the earth and surrounds the siege engine. Add 2 to the furthest thing. They're both there, so neither are very far. I remembered the event. Yay! Small victories here. All right, I'm going to spend the 3 and, well, I'll spend the 5 and the 4 to get the Street of Flamme. Those are out. I need to spend... these all refresh. I'm going to spend the 5, the 3, and the 2 to kill the catapult. I'm going to discard her to... Yeah, discard her to heal that. So the benefit of like discarding before you take a new one is that if you want to heal, you can't do it in response to seeing the next champion is really the difference. It's a little weird from a rule standpoint. I don't understand the point that much, but it is what it is. I'm going to use this 2. I want to kill everything now because I'm greedy. I'm going to use this 2. So that gives me +2 against the blue enemy. That's fine. This is +1 blue, but I can use that to augment a red power. So we've now gotten the Gargan Priest. Oh, we're off the screen. How much? Nope. Okay, that's fine. It's still on the screen a little bit. How much is off the screen? None of it. I'm going to do the 6 and this 2 to kill the Dragonkin Warlord. And then I can use this 3 to kill that dude. And last but not least, now you don't need to kill everything, but I've never done it before, so I'm excited. I also had this 1, which is stupid. So all of these are going to be more than enough to kill the catapult, even with that magic. Again, if I had killed it first, I could have added the magic there. Catapult's out. Everything's wiped out. We have well over 13 cards. This is a new record, kids. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 cards. So that gives us the most amazing victory we could get. Defeated and routed troops. The Queen acknowledges your triumph over the Shadow Kingdoms and proclaims you Defender of the Realm. You will serve at court as Her Majesty's Minister of War for the remainder of the current strife between Valeria and the Shadow Kingdoms. If the Queen were to someday fall in battle or otherwise expire, you are favored to win the election as the next ruler of Valeria. So someone asked me, I think I skipped the question. Someone asked I talked a lot about what I think about this game when I started. So whoever asked the question, definitely check out the first 5 minutes. I mean, I'll kind of summarize that now with some thoughts, but let me check out the chat. It would likely help if the events were bigger. Being a smaller component mentally suggests less importance, I think. Adam Brown says ones again. Yeah, but we had ways to mitigate. I mean, so much of this game, like being able to have the Rune Witch in a place where I could defeat her and then re-roll everything else was super useful. And then the second roll was very good. The champions came out in a better order. The events, well, we fudged the events because I was like, I couldn't refigure it, but I just kind of changed. I was like, oh, the next one was a good event, so fine, I just won't take that benefit, and we'll call it a day. Again, I think had I known what I saw eventually, this was a pretty emphatic win. I had tons of cards that I did not use. We would have been able to make that work, I think. Again, this is a shocking limited number of powers that we actually used. Getting our dice earlier really helped. I do think that this game will not have the staying power for me that Set of Watch has. They do scratch very similar itches, and I think it's a very quick, very nice puzzle. It's a pretty solid challenge. I definitely I very much enjoy it. I enjoy what it does. I enjoy the challenge of it, and pretty impressed with the puzzle. So curious to see where they go with it. I do wonder if there's going to be expansion content because that plus or minus 1 is really goofy. If there's not, I think some of the aspects of the rules are a little loosey-goosey to a way that's not great, but I think overall it's a pretty strong rule book. This is a really nice player aid as you're getting started. I just think some of it gets fuzzy with the blue dice and how you can spend them, and what does it mean when you're spending blue dice? Can I use the same die to, kill to enhance? Could I use this blue die? Could I use this blue die here to end a 1 to both satisfy that and give me the extra strength for the red? That's really gets fuzzy in the rule book. So it does seem like the rule book leans more toward flexibility, so the answer is probably yes, but it's not totally clear. For a while I felt like I was cheesing some of these heroes. This is the +2 red, the +2. Could I use that magic damage to enhance? And the rules are oh yeah, I can. There's actually an example where I can use that +2 to enhance a red die against a red enemy. But then I'm then why is it blue? Because none of the red enemies have blue. So again, is there an expansion? If there was an expansion, I'd be very curious to check it out for sure, to see if it makes it a little bit harder. It is, despite me getting smashed in that first game, it is, it might feel a little bit easier for someone who's a more experienced gamer. But lots to like, man. The champions are cool. I mean, you got Chadwick Boseman in your game. That's always a good thing. So but that's it. I gotta run. I got a friend. I think he's milling about upstairs already. I don't know. Maybe the guy that bought me. Bought me Burn Cycle. So maybe we'll or who taught me. He didn't buy me anything. Well, at least not Burn Cycle. Who taught me Burn Cycle? So he's here. Maybe he brought Burn Cycle. We'll we'll try that again. Adam Brown, thank you for a great play. Yeah, thanks for the assist, man. I'm again sorry about the weirdness in the third round. Glad that next card was not a thing. It just kind of was like, all right, that's just the easiest thing to do. Shuffling's random anyway. You know, solo gaming when you realize you make a mistake that's not easy to redo is always a fun. Always a fun experience. But yeah, I think Mike's onto something. Like if these cards are bigger and like just instead of being the same cards as there, and I understand, look, smaller is probably cheaper. I get it, but if this was like an actual deck like this, it'd be harder to kind of forget about them. They do seem to blend in a little bit too easily. But it's just learning the dance. Every game's a dance. Learning the steps is important. So, but this a great little game. Thanks again to Daily Magic Games for sending it my way, making it that much easier for me to feature it on the channel. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna back to back at Set a Watch and Siege of Valeria. So Set a Watch is tomorrow. Next week you can look out for a playthrough of McKee, Spirit Island, and I don't know, some other cool things on the horizon. So be sure to check that out. I said Horizon. That was not intentional. Horizon's a Spirit Island. I don't know, whatever. My brain's a little mushy right now, but it's all good. Thanks for joining me. Question, comments, epiphanies, put them in the comment section below. I'll get back to you. And until next time, happy gaming.
Solo.